Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday, November 8th. The time is 6:30 p.m. I'd like to call this special meeting to order by asking everybody to please rise and say a pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, board members received an email today, and I made copies for you. When you can grab a minute throughout the meeting, review the letter that I'd like to send that we'll be reading a resolution about later. It is the letter that I asked for support to for the water rate increases. Okay, so just give that a look at throughout the meeting, and we'll talk about it at a later time tonight. And we'll read a resolution to hopefully send it, okay? I'd also like to ask the board if you're okay with me switching the order on the agenda and starting off with the public hearing of the 2024 preliminary budget, and do that first. That way, if the fire department members want to leave before the other public hearing, they may. Is that all right with you guys?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Any public comments or questions on agenda items only? If you do, please approach the podium. Seeing nobody approaching the podium, we'll move on. At this point in time, I'd like to open a public hearing on the 2024 preliminary Town of Dover Town Annual Budget. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion made and seconded to open the public hearing on the 2024 preliminary budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Public hearing is now open on the 2024 preliminary annual budget. At this time, I'd like to invite President Brian Kelly to the podium. He'd like to give his annual report. Question, council. We have a 5-year contract, and I know I usually abstain or recuse, but we're not voting on anything tonight. He's just discussing an annual report. Probably discuss the prices that are already set in place.
Correct.
Good.
There's no action being taken tonight.
Okay, thank you. Brian, go ahead, buddy.
Good evening, Town Board. I'd like to introduce who I have here with me tonight. I have J.P. Aubrey as our fire chief. Big Bob Greenlease is our first vice president. Josh DeBray, Assistant Chief Dover. Kevin Harris, Assistant Chief Wingdale. Bob Satori is our treasurer, and Howie Kraft is our deputy treasurer. So I'd like to give you a year-end report of 2022 because we're always a year behind with the budget when we discuss it. So I'll give you a highlight of what went on for 2022 and also part of 2023. The J.H. Ketchum Hose Company responded to 250 fire-related calls in 2022, which included 15 in-building fires, 54 auto accidents, 3 vehicle fires, 6 brush fires, 113 automatic fire alarms, and 343 EMS calls for a total of 3,467.5 volunteer response hours. The Town of Dover Ambulance responded to 1,020 EMS calls in 2022, an average of 3 calls per day. The shared services agreement that the town has with the Town of Amenia is working, as they have responded to second EMS calls in the district 149 times. The Town of Dover also has mutual aid from NDP, Unionville, Pauling, and Millbrook ambulances 36 times. On August 26, 2021, a contract was signed with Premier Fire Apparatus for the purchase of an E1 custom Typhoon pumper. It has a 2,000-gallon minute pump, carries 1,800 gallons of water, and is capable of dumping water on all 3 sides for porta-tank operations. It also has a Foam Pro system and carries 30 gallons of foam for firefighting and all types of fires, structural, vehicle, and brush fires. The cost of the new pumper tanker was $750,000. For reference, the vehicle we replaced was a 2010 that cost $440,000 back in 2010. Since COVID, cost has increased dramatically. It was if we bought the truck today, it would cost nearly $900,000, a $150,000 increase in just 2 years. We received the new fire truck on August 28th, 2023. Trained staff and we placed it in service at Station 2 in Wingdale in September of this year. We continue to upgrade our fire apparatus so we can continue to provide the highest level of fire service to our town residents. We also continue to search for the best interest rate, and the last fire truck that we purchased was this one at Station 2. We borrowed $350,000 at a rate of 1.74%, which will be paid off in April of 2026. In March of 2022, Peckham Industries, Wingdale Material, purchases a contract for iPads that was installed in each fire apparatus. These iPads give the chief officers, fire apparatus drivers, line officers up-to-date information about the incidents that we're responding to real time, along with critical information needed before arriving on the scene of a call. On July 22nd, 2022, County Executive Marcus Molinaro announced that JHK was awarded $40,469 through the 2022 Dutchess County Municipal Investment Grant Program for the purchase of an Argo Extreme UTV that will be used for rescue and fire incidents located in areas such as the Appalachian Trail State Forest, nature preserves, Stone Church, Seven Wells, and parklands located in the town of Dover. The UTV was purchased, training conducted, and the UTV was placed in service in April of this year. Since putting the UTV in service, it has been used at a swiftwater rescue on the 10 Mile River in the Limekiln area, and a wildland rescue at the Stone Church, where the UTV was used to transport equipment to the scene and evacuate the patient to an awaiting ambulance at the firehouse due to the Stone Church access road being washed out by storms. Total cost for the UTV and the trailer was $65,811. The additional $25,342 needed for this purchase came from private contributions and our annual fundraisers. On August 19, 2022, FEMA announced through the 2021 Assistance of Firefighters Grant that the fire department was awarded $184,073.33 for the purchase of 27 self-contained breathing apparatus and 54 bottles. The fire department was required to provide 5% or $9,203.67 towards the SCBA purchase. This grant replaced our outdated SCBA air packs and bottles that were over 17 years old. Delivery of the self-contained breathing apparatus were received, training conducted, and the self-contained breathing apparatus were placed in service in June of this year. On August 28, 2023, County Executive William O'Neill announced that JHK would receive a mid-grant in the amount of $40,000 for the purchase of battery-powered rescue tools with accessories for vehicle extrication. This grant will allow the fire department to upgrade our existing extrication tools, which will expedite and improve extrication during motor vehicle accidents, and will also provide us the capability of using extrication tools in the off-road incidents such as industrial, commercial work sites, logging incidents, UTV and ATV accidents. The bid was just awarded on October 31st to Garrison Fire Equipment for Halmetro rescue tools and accessories, and it will take approximately 18 weeks for delivery. Total cost of the purchase of the extrication tools is $55,020. $40,000 will be provided through the mid-grant, and the additional $15,020 will come from private contributions and our annual fundraisers. We continue to replace our interior firefighting gear on an ongoing basis due to the life expectancy of the mandatory replacement of turnout gear is 10 years. The cost to outfit a firefighter with bunker coat, bunker pants, helmet, boots, hood, and gloves continue to escalate. The cost at this time is approximately $4,500 per firefighter. The firefighting gear that we purchase, of course, is not top of the line, but it provides our firefighters with the necessary protection needed during fire incidents. We have mentioned this several times in the past, including the past 3 years, and I know the town board is working on it, that each taxpayer deserves to receive a breakdown for fire and ambulance service cost in their annual tax bill. This breakdown will provide taxpayers with an accurate cost for fire service and paid ambulance service for the year. As you know, paid ambulance service is going to be one of your largest increases when you negotiate the next contract. As you know, the fire company entered into a 5-year contract from 2022 through 2026 with the town of Dover, We feel that this continues to be beneficial for both the town of Dover and the fire department for financial stability. Thank you for letting us provide you with the information and giving us an opportunity to update the town board on an annual basis. So ambulance service is going to be one of your critical increases in the next, whether you go with a single-year contract, 3-year contract, or 5-year contract. But just to let you know, Sanfordville signed a contract for $750,000. That's annually. Unionville just had one for $800,000 annually. And I believe our town budget for ambulance service is $280,000, $285,000.
292 this year, maybe?
Yeah, it says a 292. I knew it was somewhere in that area. But expect that to at least double, if not go up a little bit higher than that. I'm anticipating 600,000 or 650,000. So
292, 426.
yeah, so you're gonna at least double.
Well, with that, first let me say thank you, Brian. Every year we invite the fire company here to give an annual report, to talk the numbers that they look at. Probably over 90% of those numbers that he gives is mandatory.
Mhm.
And then the rest is cost of doing business, which is what I've been saying for weeks now. So, but with that comment about the ambulance, we are going into, I think I've mentioned it in previous meetings, we are going into a negotiation year. Whether we stay combined with a shared service type of agreement with the town of Northeast, the town of Amenia, which includes Amenia Fire Department and the Wasaig Fire Department, along with us, it doesn't matter to me, but negotiations are going to be tough, right? We've talked about this. So at this time, we've talked about it with the chief and the other board of directors. I'd like to formally ask you for the record, I would like at least yourself and the chief to help represent the fire and ambulance service along with town board representatives and help us negotiate next year.
That's not a problem.
All right? I'd appreciate that. That way we cover, as far as I'm concerned, all bases. You're out there every day with them. All right? And then we handle the business end of things, so I think we all should be combined in on that. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you for the report, Brian. Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
With that, we'll move on into the public hearing. A couple comments on the budget end from mine. You got two pieces of paper today. One, we made some changes. Like I've said from the start, the budget is a work in progress until we vote on it, hopefully next week. We did a study, Jay and Julie got together. They did a park and recreational charge, which is our revenue, certain programs, things that hadn't been adjusted in a while. We compared it to other towns throughout the county. They made some adjustments, and it increased a little less than what I thought it would, but we made some decisions to keep some things where they were at, which is more than fine. But the increase in revenue, projected revenue for next year went up $8,856, which helped the budget, okay? Then the next peak down, we failed to remember that we have an annual service contract on our ADA manual doors out front, so we had to put that back into it. That was my mistake. And then for the additional monies for the change in the mowing contract, that was a difference of $1,500. So you see an increase of $2,100 there. And then the next one down, changes to the fund balance appropriation. We tweaked some numbers, we made some changes, and we decreased the usage of fund balance by $5,000. Judy has gotten some, we're hoping, pretty factual information on the assessor's fees. So we're hoping that those numbers stick. So with all the pencil sharpening and everything else in the last few weeks since I gave you the tentative budget and then we went to preliminary, I have to thank once again everybody involved, Nicole, Lizette, Tracy, Katie out of her office, and all the department heads to help me still make adjustments whether they liked it or not. Sorry, Julie. But I am very happy and very proud to say that although we voted to go over, I have lowered it once again, and we are at 1.92%. 2%'s the cap. There ain't much room there. We're at 199, so wherever we found it, you found it. Thank you, Nicole. So that's where we're at. Before I open up for some public comments on the budget, any questions?
No, good job, man.
Good?
Good job. Good job.
Anybody sitting in the public tonight that would have a question or make a comment on our budget, please approach the podium. Seeing nobody approaching the podium, if there are no further questions from the board members, Madam Clerk, do you have any? If there are no further questions and no comments about the budget, I believe we make the resolution for next week. We're all done, right? Okay. I move that we close this public hearing on the 2024 budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by myself and seconded by Deputy House. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is closed. Thank you very much.
Nice job, Rich.
Thank you.
Nice job, everybody.
Next, I'll make a motion to reopen the public hearing and continue the public hearing, on the updated draft of solar legislation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to reopen the public hearing and continue with the public hearing on the solar legislation. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is now open. Anybody has any questions or comments? Do we have anybody signed up?
Sure, can I just go get it?
Sorry. First name we have Ed Friend.
Thank you. Hi, my name is
Sir, just state your name and where you're from.
my name is Ed Friend. I live at 123 Robin Lane in Dover Plains. Just putting aside any debate about the fossil fuel pollution problem. I mean, we all have our own opinions on that, and we don't need to get into it now. Just the fact that fossil fuel is a finite resource. Someday, maybe 5 generations, maybe 20 generations, it will run out at some point. And I'm pleased to see that the town has taken an initiative to address solar installations as an answer to this. I did find many of the ideas and concepts in the draft very good. I liked a lot of them. For example, that it authorizes the town of Dover to adopt provisions that advance the health, safety, and welfare of the community, it protects the interests of the town residents and businesses, and encourages sensibility in the siting, such that scenic view sheds, overlays, and vistas are preserved and protected. Besides defining the smaller scaled systems for home use, which I'm very interested in personally, I'm very excited to see the Tier 3 system as stated in the draft. The purpose of the medium scale solar energy system is to benefit local power grid, and that serves any part of the town. Some of the benefits would help reduce power outages, help lower energy bills, which is a big thing for people on a fixed income, and provide cleaner electricity. A large-scale system could, but not be required to provide energy locally. So for the most part of this draft, there's some lingering questions about the Tier 4 system and how the town would benefit from such an installation. It would seem that you guys did a good job addressing the needs of the town as far as solar energy goes. However, when we get to Article 4, under the heading of Site Plan and Special Permit Reviews, Item 4, on page 8, we see the waivers section. And the waivers, basically, I'll read it. It says, "The planning board shall have discretionary authority to waive, subject to appropriate conditions, any of the standards set forth herein except for the limits placed by the local law on the maximum generating capacity of the solar energy generation facilities permitted by this law and bulk area requirements. The planning board may waive the setback by not more than 25% of the requirement. Now, I'm a union steward, former union steward. I retired from the post office, and that something like that, it would be something that I would be looking for if I was defending a letter carrier in my duty as a steward, because this leaves a potential scenario where any or all of the good points I just mentioned could be amended or even removed, as long as the plan submits to the two things that were mentioned in the waiver: the maximum generation capacity and the bulk area requirements. In fact, the way the waiver is written, a majority of the 25-page document could be amended or changed or even removed. And because of the waiver paragraph, I can't support the draft that is written. Since this could become a local town law to be used by future administrations as well, I want to ask the town board, what do you want your legacy to be? In 20 years, do you want to be known as the pioneers who forged a common-sense local law to regulate solar energy system that benefits the community and provides inexpensive power, especially for our poor and elderly? Or do you want to be known for a series of eyesores that export electricity to other communities, bypassing the people of Dover? I'd like to encourage the board to revisit the draft. Solar and alternative energy sources of the future, and having a plan in place that ensures the town will benefit from having that infrastructure within our borders would be a true win for Dover. Thank you.
Thank you. Jill Fieldstein.
Jill Fieldstein, Dover Plains. First of all, let me congratulate you, Jan and Jay, on your victory, and I wish you both very well in your continued representation of the board, and congratulations to everyone else who won re-election yesterday. Regarding the proposed solar law, as I previously have noted in September, and as Ed just wonderfully spelled out, I have a continued objection to the waiver provision in this solar law. I had submitted suggested changes to the law that I continue to maintain include modifications and provisions that will make the law more effective in meeting the proposed law's stated goal. And that goal, as set forth in the proposed law's introductory provisions, is to promote the effective and efficient use of solar energy systems, set provisions for the sensible placement, design, construction, and operation of such systems in such a way as to be consistent with the Town of Dover Comprehensive Plan, to uphold the public health, safety, and welfare, and to ensure that such systems will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment or the aesthetic qualities and characters of the town. The law also states in Article 5, which is the general standards for solar energy systems, that the proposed solar projects, quote, shall be in harmony with the goals and objectives of the Town of Dover Comprehensive Plan. Based on these requirements and in the proposed law, I suggested back in September and suggest again that the proposed law's introductory provisions include a brief statement outlining the objectives of the Dover Comprehensive Plan that a potential applicant would be required to meet. Without a statement as to those goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, both the applicant and the planning board will be left to guess as to whether a proposed project does or does not meet those goals. The other suggestion I would like to revisit, as I said, is the waiver provision in Article 4. The proposed law includes many provisions intended to meet the proposed law's stated goal from the introductory provision, provisions intended to protect the town's scenic view sheds, the environment, farmland, woodlands, and many other things. However, the waiver provision, as written, gives the planning board license to to waive almost all of the provisions intended to ensure that a project meets the proposed law's stated goals. It is imperative that prior to passage of this proposed law, the board either delete this waiver provision in its entirety or rewrite it so it gives the planning board explicit guidance as to the circumstances under which the waiver would be appropriate. Otherwise, this waiver provision gives the planning board carte blanche to approve projects that do not meet the law's stated goal. Thank you.
Thank you. If no one else signed up on the list, is there anybody else that would like to ask a question or make a comment? Please approach the podium.
My name is Donna Tompkins. I live on Clareview Road, Wayndale, New York. It only recently came to my attention about the solar legislation. Where can I find the laws that these two people have been speaking about?
On our website.
Right on our website. It's been on our website.
And when do you plan to be voting on this legislation?
After I read a few things tonight, I'm going to move.
Tonight?
I'm going to move to close the public session.
Okay. I guess I have nothing to say because I haven't been able to.
No, you're more than welcome to say what you got to say. We're going to make note.
Well, I have a number of objections to solar farms. Where do you get rid of them when they're past their useful life? Do they go into a landfill? How much do they actually produce and put out for public use? Questions like that. You've done all the studies, I'm sure, and they're in this thing.
If you would like to put that in writing, I'll accept it through tomorrow morning for you.
Okay. Thank you. I might. Thank you very much.
Sir?
My name is Philip Van Buren. I live at 54 Aston Road in Wayndale. I guess I just wanted to express my concern about the provision for the Tier 4 large-scale solar farms, and I don't see how those benefit the town of Dover, and the town of Dover is already significantly burdened by large power infrastructure projects, and it has a blighting effect on property values, and I don't think that that's really what the town needs right now. Other towns, I understand, do not make provision for large-scale farms. I don't see why we need to do either. And then I guess I'm also particularly concerned about the waiver provisions that essentially nullify or the good sounding language about protecting view sheds and protecting natural resources. If they can be waived, then the law might as well not even exist. So that's my comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a comment or a question? Come on up.
Hello, my name is Samson Leonard. I live at, just on, it's not on, right?
Don.
It is? No, it's on. Okay, good. So I couldn't hear anybody. Okay. So now that I have this on, yeah. So I just wanted to say that I oppose this project. I think I've been coming to these meetings for years now. I think 6 years now, though I was gone for a while. And I've seen a lot of just bad things happening in this town with the other solar plants and different planning board things, people being doing sneaky things, being on the board and then leaving, and so I just have a general sense of distrust about the town board and the projects that are put before the board, and also the fact that this isn't going to benefit this town in any way. All the energy is going to leave the town, and it's not going to help us. So I just wanted to get on the record that I oppose this. Thank you.
Anybody else? There you are.
Hi.
How are you?
Sorry I'm late.
All right. State your name and where you're from, please.
My name is Claire Way. I'm the 10 Mile River Watershed Manager for the Housatonic Valley Association. We are a nonprofit watershed organization and land trust that works to protect the environmental health of the entire Housatonic River watershed, of which the 10 Mile River and its tributaries in Dover are an important part. HVA and the town of Dover have worked together closely for years on a lot of different projects that I'm happy to talk about another time. A big part of HVA's mission is to help every municipality in the Housatonic watershed prepare for the effects of the climate crisis and divesting from fossil fuels and increasing alternative energy infrastructure is hugely important, as you know, which is why we're talking about this. Overall, I think the draft of the proposed law regulating solar energy systems is thoughtful and well written. I do have some comments that I hope might be taken into account before the law is passed. I have a very thorough outline of those comments that I'm told will be distributed to you afterwards, but this is just a summary of those thoughts. Our comments mostly relate to the possible effects of altering land use on a large scale, relating specifically to the permitting and installation of what's described in the law as Tier 3 and 4 solar energy systems. We strongly recommend that the town board and planning board prioritize the investigation and removal of legacy contaminants that might be present in proposed sites prior to construction. In Article 6 of the proposed law, specific standards for solar energy systems, subsection siting considerations, subsection C, currently reads, previously developed lands that are otherwise unbuildable or unusable, such as landfills and brownfields, etc., are preferred locations for community solar energy systems. That, while true, it makes total sense when we're thinking about altering land use and making the best use of locations that are already primed for solar infrastructure versus converting existing land use to a solar lot. However, we strongly recommend mandating the investigation and removal of legacy contaminants that may be present at sites like landfills and brownfields. That's hard to say. This is an extremely important step that must be taken in order to ensure the protection of surface and groundwater, air quality, and myriad other potential impacts to the environmental health of Dover. We recommend hiring an expert to assess the extent to which legacy contaminants are present at a site and mandating that the applicant incur the cost of mitigating or removing those contaminants prior to construction. Overarchingly, it's really important to consider the cost benefit of altering land use at a larger scale. If our collective ultimate goal is climate readiness as soon as possible and energy efficiency, then it's important for the town at large, the town board, the town planning board, to be able to accurately weigh whether the carbon sequestration and cooling benefits of an existing parcel are greater than the potential solar benefits of converting that parcel to a solar lot. And to not be shy about requiring changes to proposals or rejecting them altogether if you find that the balance doesn't work for the town. One important tool that would be helpful for that is Scenic Hudson's solar mapping tool. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's an interactive map that can overlay relevant data points and help a town, specifically a planning board, identify before proposals come in front of them what locations within the town of Dover would be ideal for solar energy systems. HVA also, through our Follow the Forest program, has mapped core forests in Dover that hold the most ecological importance for the town and beyond, and I would be happy to set up a time to discuss that data. thank you very much. It's really exciting to be a part of this step towards holistic expansion of alternative energy, and please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing nobody else approaching the podium, I'm just going to make a few comments. We have taken all the comments that have been said. We have taken all the comments that have been written and sent in. The committee has met on it a few times, discussed each and every one of them, along with the consultant to the committee. But they've made a decision that we're going to send it on. But there's a lot of things that have been said at the last few meetings, but not everything. And you're going to hear a few things that should have been said so everybody can be aware of it. Tier 3 community solar energy systems as cited shall be a minimum of 50 acres. Tier 3 community solar energy systems shall be set back at least 300 feet from all property lines. No component of any community solar energy system may be located within 100 feet of any roadway. No more than 35% of the solar lot shall be occupied by entirely of any community solar energy system. The clearing of additional lands to accommodate a community solar energy system may be permitted, provided the percentage of newly cleared land on any solar lot does not exceed 50% of the existing woodlands on the solar lot in total. Arrays shall be located on a solar lot in such a manner as to avoid, to the maximum extent feasible, soils classified as prime farmland. Areas of scenic viewsheds shall be avoided. Tier 3 community energy systems shall be sited in a manner as to have the least possible practical visual effect on the environment and visual resources. At the applicant's expense, the applicant shall provide the planning board with a visual assessment report. Tier 3 community solar energy systems shall not be sited in any location that would detract from the scenic views, the scenic viewshed, the rural character, or visual qualities of Dover's landscape and historic character. They shall avoid areas of visible open space, distant views, scenic viewsheds, distinct natural features, and cultural and historic resources. Appropriate landscaping and/or site design features, including berms, the maintenance of existing natural vegetation, and the introduction of new planting consisting of naturally appearing blend of deciduous and coniferous species, shall be required to help screen the Tier 3 community solar energy. Be further screened with plantings of evergreen and deciduous plantings at a height so as to provide a visual screen of the ground-mounted system from residential uses and scenic viewsheds. The screening method must provide for year-round screening and a minimum of 2 offset staggered rows of evergreen plantings with a minimum height of 6 feet or taller as deemed appropriate by the planning board for the given conditions. Tier 3 community solar energy system projects require a photo simulation. Requirements for Tier 4. All Tier 4 solar systems are subject to site plan and special use permit application requirements established for Tier 3 solar systems. Pre-application meeting. At least 60 days prior to the submission of an application, the applicant shall conduct a pre-application meeting with the code enforcement officer, the town engineer, the town attorney, and planning board chair to ensure all parties have clear expectations regarding any town requirements applicable to the proposed solar energy system. Community engagement plan. Applications for Tier 4 solar energy system shall include a community engagement plan detailing the applicant's proposed plans and strategies for ensuring adequate public awareness and encouraging community participation. Applicants are highly encouraged to discuss the contents and details proposed in this plan with the planning board prior to the submission of a formal engagement plan. Special use permit standards. Setbacks. Tier 4 energy systems shall meet all applicable parcel line and other setback requirements established for Tier 3. No more than 35% of the solar lot shall be occupied by the by the entirely of any Tier 4 energy system. Agricultural resources. Tier 4 solar energy systems for which the facility area includes active agricultural lands shall adhere to the following requirements. Tier 4 solar systems components, equipment, and associated impervious surfaces shall occupy no more than 50% of the active agricultural lands within the facility area. So there's just a few things that I feel everybody should hear, because it wasn't addressed by speakers throughout the last few weeks. And with that, I'm going to move that we close the public hearing on this legislation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made by myself and seconded to close the public hearing sessions on the legislation for solar energy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Closed. With that, I move that we take this plan, this law, and we send it on to Dutchess County Planning with the comments that have been made for their review, to send back with any comments and suggestions and/or changes that they might make, and pursue it further once it is returned to us. Do I have a second?
Second. Second.
Second. Motion made and second. Council, did I cover everything on that one?
Yeah, so Dutchess County will have a 30-day review period to review the proposed legislation. Then their comments will come back to the board. The board could look at those comments, look at the public comments, and then we can make any tweaks to the legislation if necessary before it's put on an agenda for secret determination and a possible vote.
Is it a review in 30 days or review by 30 days?
By 30 days.
By 30 days.
Yeah, so it's a 239 referral to Dutchess County Planning. They'll have up to 30 days to review. A lot of times Dutchess County is pretty good and get us comments earlier, but they do by law have up to 30 days.
Thank you. Motion's made and seconded to move this forward and send on to county planning. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Thank you. Resolutions. Resolution authorizing the release of a performance bond. Whereas Nature Works Enterprises LLC posted a performance bond in the amount of $47,630.50 in connection with the bid award of the American Legion Stairway Project, and whereas Nature Works Enterprises LLC has completed the work to the satisfaction of the town engineer and the building inspector. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Dover does hereby authorize the release of the performance bond in the amount of $47,630.50 to Nature Work Enterprises LLC in connection with the American Legion Stairway Project. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by Maluda, seconded by Jackson. Any discussion? Good job.
Good job. Good job.
They really did a
Yep.
good job.
Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Resolution acknowledging hiring of a heavy machinery equipment operator and a laborer. Whereas the Town of Dover Highway Superintendent Jason Sartori has informed the Town Board of the Town of Dover of his decision to hire John Lane to the position of heavy machine equipment operator and Zachary Klinger to the laborer position in the Town of Dover Highway Department. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby acknowledge the hiring of John Lane and Zachary Klinger to the positions of heavy machinery equipment operator and laborer commencing on November 13th, 2023 at the hourly rate as listed in the current local 455 IBT adopted contract with the Town of Dover. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Supervisor, I have a small typo. It should be 456, just if the clerk can note it.
Okay.
Apologize.
I have a motion by House, seconded by Maluda. You both okay with that change?
Yep.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Superintendent Satori couldn't be here tonight. He's actually away and out of town for tonight. But he said the interviews went well, so if anybody was curious. All right, no further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Welcome aboard. This next resolution you won't see on your agenda. Sorry. This is in reference to the letter, so let me read the resolution, and then we'll have discussion. Be it resolved, resolution authorizing the supervisor to send a letter to New York State Public Service Commission. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Dover does hereby authorize the town supervisor to send a letter to the New York State Public Service Commission in opposition to the requested water rate increase by the Dover Plains Water Company on behalf of the town of Dover and affected residents of Dover. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Brought by Murphy, seconded by House. Discussion. So this was the letter I referenced to earlier, right after we opened up the meeting. If you had a minute to all read through it.
Yep.
I thank Town Clerk Katie Palmerhouse for helping me get through this and checking the grammar, which was all hers anyway, so thank you very much, Katie. But this is going to be sent up. As I've said and before, I don't feel the increase is fair. I don't feel the increase is fair for our seniors, our hampered residents in Dover financially, as well as the town itself. I told you it was estimated of a $6,000 increase to our budget, which made us go back to the drawing board and get the budget to where it's at. I have a contingency line, and I will be relying on that contingency line probably, if this passes 100%, which I'm confident it won't, with enough people speaking up from the community itself, as well as businesses and the municipality. Okay? That's my comment on that.
Can you read the letter, Rich?
Yep. It's addressed to Michelle Phillips, Secretary of the Commission, New York State Public Service Commission. Dear Ms. Phillips, on behalf of the Town of Dover Town Board, the elected officials who represent customers of the Dover Plains Hamlet, served by the Dover Plains Water Company, we respectfully ask your intervention to mitigate the impending financial hardships that a 67% increase in water bills and quarterly $30 per customer surcharge will have on our residents. As mentioned in Dover Plains Water Company's letter of October 6, 2023, we're going to fix that. Yep. The increase will result in an average bill of $600.86 per year, along with an ostensibly permanent annual surcharge of $120 per customer to bring a resident's annual total water bill to approximately $720. According to the 2021 American Community Survey, the Dover Plains Hamlet Census Designated Place, CDP, has 1,322 residents, of which the majority are water company customers. Among Hamlet residents who will bear the brunt of the increase are senior citizens of a 100-unit, age 55-plus mobile home park, dual income and immigrant families who reside in rental apartments surrounding the town's train station, single individuals who live in a rent-subsidized apartment building, and small businesses that provide essential services to residents without transportation, including food, medical care, and household needs. Census data also show the median household income of Dover Plains residents is $43,125, substantially below the town's overall median household income of $77,317. Simply put, the town's most vulnerable residents will suffer the most. Imposing this level of an anticipated financial hardship on fixed and low-income residents who have no alternative and who are already struggling to make ends meet seems capricious and desultory, right? Desultory, sorry. Businesses that provide essential services, use them big words, Katie. Businesses that provide essential services should be accountable and responsible to anticipate, plan and budget for maintenance and upgrades without informing customers that aged infrastructure, major repairs, and the lack of an escrow account rest upon their customers to rectify. We thank you in advance for your thoughtful consideration of the negative impact that this rate increase on our residents in your final decision. Sincerely, Richard C. Yino, Town Supervisor. So, along with that, the fire company sent a letter, I believe, Chief, correct? Yes. I have been told several businesses and residents are forming a package to mail together.
We've also received letters of opposition from Assemblyman Behan's office. Senator Hinchy's office is in a draft form currently, and that office has been very helpful in penning a letter as well. There's a few property owners locally that are writing letters of opposition. I have a holding company and have some real estate locally that would be affected by this, and I'm writing a letter of opposition. I've been in contact with Mr. Whalen as well, who kind of owns the southern corridor past the traffic light on 22. He's also looking at writing a letter of opposition as well. So we're gaining support to try and kind of combat this the best we can. Is it likely that we are going to see some sort of increase? Absolutely. Even if it was some sort of tiered program where it was, increases were over, a number of years or something like that. But I agree with the letter here today and also the letters from the J.H. Ketchum Hose Company and Assemblyman Behan's office that we've received to date that right off the bat a 67% increase and this kind of unnecessary additional monthly charge for this surcharge is just too high for the local families to bear currently. So thank you for your help with this.
You are correct. Any other comment? Sound good? Everybody's happy with that letter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I believe, did I get a motion in a second?
Yeah,
I did.
motion and second,
Correct.
just a vote thing.
Motion been made and seconded to send this letter on up to the Public Service Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. One announcement before we get to public comments. Based upon the results yesterday, it does appear that an appointment will have to be made for January 1st. Congratulations, Andrew House.
Thank
He
you.
will be moving up to the county legislature. And with that, we need to fill a seat for the completion of his term, which will be an appointment until November of '24, and then a special election to finish out the final year, correct?
Correct.
Of '25. And then if they choose, whoever may be appointed, rerun in '25 for the four-year term. So, at this point, as a board and as supervisor, we will do our due diligence, and we will accept letters of interest to be appointed to the town board for 2024. And then if they choose to run in a special election in November of 2024 to complete the term through the end of '25. I miss anything, council?
No.
Good?
Yeah.
So, let it be known that we'll, as of tonight, we'll accept letters of interest, and we will go through the process of reaching out, interviewing. It is a board decision and a board appointment. And I plan to have that done and completed by the end of the year, to take place on January 1st. Any questions? Good? Council?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and with that, public comments. If anybody has a question or a comment, please approach the podium.
Jill Fieldstein again. This is a comment based on the local law number 1 of the year 2023, imposing a temporary townwide moratorium on the approval and installation of certain public utility, infrastructure, and facility installations. You received, I believe the board received an email yesterday inquiring about the local law, which was imposed for a 180-day period with the ability to review and extend the law. The law was passed by this board in April of this year, and it went into effect on May 11, 2023, when it was filed with the Secretary of State. I'm here to request now that the town board review and renew the moratorium for an additional 180 day as provided in Section 10 of the local law. As set forth in the law, the moratorium was enacted to, quote, enable the town of Dover to adopt appropriate amendments to its zoning code to best regulate public utility facilities and installations within the town of Dover, end quote, and to, quote, help assure that public utility projects are consistent with the goals of the comprehensive plan, which include protecting and advancing the quality of life of residents and protecting the natural assets of the town of Dover. In the first 180 days since the law's enactment, there has not been anything publicized to the community indicating that the town has, in fact, conducted any review of the zoning laws along the lines set forth in the law. In addition, the town has not proposed a new law intended to regulate power facilities, much as the solar moratorium resulted in the proposed solar law discussed here tonight. As such, it's imperative that the town board extend the moratorium so the town conducts the study of its existing laws and regulations as intended by this local law. Allowing the moratorium to lapse without having conducted such a study or proposing a relevant law seems to be nothing short of a dereliction of the board's obligations under Public Law Number 1 of 1923. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other comments or questions from the public? No? Good?
Well, is it possible to read someone else's comments?
You've already spoken. Is that person here?
That person's not here.
You can submit it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm happy to read this if Jill would like me to. Is that okay?
That's fine. Go ahead.
Hi, Holly Morrissey. I'm on Cricket Hill Road. This is notes. Sorry, I'm out of breath. Jennifer Lazaro. So I know she's very astute. But anyway, good evening. My name is Jennifer Lazaro, and I want to share a deep concern I have for the future of our community. Regrettably, I will not be able to make it tonight. I'm sorry. Have a cold, as I'm participating in the Wingdale Elementary School Veterans Day concert. Please read the comments aloud in my absence. After reviewing recent meeting notes, it appears that the energy moratorium is about to, or has recently expired. From my understanding, the moratorium was put in place to prevent future projects from coming forward until current laws are in place to protect our environment and our community members, and to preserve it for the future. Without said laws introduced, I see no reason to lift the moratorium. If this moratorium is lifted, then I respectfully ask, why was it even enacted in the first place? As you all know, we fought a very long and hard fight to prevent Transco from building a project on a potentially contaminated site. This was a huge victory for the residents, habitats, and the animals and foliage that call this community home. In my heart, I feel that you all ran and were elected to office to represent the people of Dover, to protect and preserve this area. Please show the public how much you care and renew the energy moratorium until our laws are such that we do not have to live in fear of what's going to happen to our beautiful landscape. We know that a few days ago, Transco made some brazen moves, which included significant alterations to the site adjacent to a fragile portion of the Great Swamp with minimal to no regard for the environment. We also understand, after a recent communication, that you were unaware of this activity. No permits, whether required or not, were requested. Please keep us safe and extend the moratorium until we are prepared to handle these large outside agencies who are convening on our area for the good of other communities. I request that you continue the moratorium for the time being. Your community has spoken in great numbers, whether here at meetings or social media and or at the game fields and at Boys Park, daily at times, with regard to the importance of our environment, and we need you to represent us. I believe you will do the right thing by your constituents and not some outside agency. You owe the outside agencies nothing, but you owe your voters everything. We will not be intimidated by outsiders. Thank you for your time and consideration. Jennifer Lazaro.
Thank you.
I have it already, and everyone has it already.
Anybody else? Seeing no further comments, just to explain and answer a question, this meeting on this date is historically just for one reason. One reason is the public hearing on the budget every year. And then the regular meeting is a week later, usually because of the holiday, a week later to vote the budget in, hopefully, and then discuss issues and conduct regular business. Okay? So your comments will be taken into consideration tonight. We have a meeting next week, which will be our regular meeting for the month of November. We will not be meeting on the 29th. It will be the 15th, which we will hopefully vote in the budget, and we'll conduct normal business. And then we will be meeting again on December 6th, and then the 20th, because the regular night in December would be just 2 days after Christmas, and several people are going away for the holiday. So we will be making that change. The 6th, I am hoping, will be just a quick special meeting to hopefully make an appointment. Okay? Any questions from the board?
Good.
Good. Council, anything?
Nope.
Madam Clerk? Anything? Okay. With that, I move that we adjourn and go into an executive session to discuss litigation without returning to the dais. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to enter into an executive session and not return to the dais. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So carried. We're in executive session. Thank you all for coming tonight.